Hi, I'm Kaitlynn, and I learned about Crossroads through my pastor at my church, Woodside Bible Church in Romeo. When I came to Crossroads, I was 6 months pregnant with my third baby. I was excited. We wanted to have a baby. However, there were some domestic violence issues in our relationship, and it was just a very toxic relationship. So when I left that relationship, the father decided that he didn't want anything to do with the baby. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I had to come up with a solution, and that was, am I going to raise my baby on my own, or am I going to give him a better life through adoption? And Pastor suggested that I come to Crossroads. I met with Delana, and she gave me some options for if I chose to parent and also if I chose adoption. And she introduced me to Michelle, who is an adoption counselor at Lifeline Adoption Agency, who is ultimately who I worked with. It was the hardest decision I ever had to make, but I know that this is what God's plan was. This is where my son was meant to be. He was meant to be raised by the adoptive parents, and I couldn't be more happy for what his life is going to be like. Coming to Crossroads, it was a big decision to even ask for information about adoption. But when I did, and I started looking more into it, and I realized that open adoption would still give me the opportunity to know my child, it was something that I had to consider. When you have two kids already, it's so hard to determine if you can parent a third child or not. I never felt any kind of pressure or anything. The choice was ultimately mine, and they wanted to help me go in whatever direction I wanted to go. I was overcome with emotion, and I had a really hard time even speaking the words that I wanted to get information about an adoption agency. I felt discouraged that I was in a position where I would have had to look for an adoption agency. However, Deanna was so comforting and really helped me realize that the choice that I was looking to make for my child was a completely brave choice, and that I was looking out for what was in his best interest overall everything else. For those that are thinking that abortion is the only option, I would suggest that they come to Crossroads and talk to some of the staff here, because there are always other options and opportunities to give your baby a chance at life. This organization is so important for people that are in situations that were like mine or similar, because it gave me the tools that I needed to be able to come up with a solution that would work for me. If it wasn't for Crossroads, I wouldn't have learned about Lifeline. And after learning about Lifeline, there's connections to the church that I go to with Lifeline and here and all that kind of stuff. And it's just so cool that everybody's connected. Open adoption was right for me, but that doesn't mean that it's right for everyone. And I think Crossroads has a lot of different opportunities to even parent your child if that's what you want to do, give you resources for that, and really support you through whatever the right choice is for you. My open adoption is pretty unique. I get the opportunity of getting pictures of my son every single day. We have a group chat that we communicate back and forth, and just as much as they send pictures of Henry, which is my son, they love getting pictures and updates about my other two children and things like that too. So we really have like a family bond now, which I think is really cool. We are able to come up with times to visit one another, even though they live out of state. They're willing to come and have visits with me so that I can see Henry grow up in real time and not just find out what he's like when he's older, it's just so, I couldn't have thought of a better situation.